Tanzania's Serengeti Plain is a challenging place for golden jackals to set up home. Their territory is often shared with vast grazing herds. To survive in a land of giants and under the constant threat of invasion, they employ a cunning blend of skill, bluff, and sheer bravado. In the stretch of grassland between Nabi Hill in the west and the Gol Rocks in the east, there live two golden jackal families, next-door neighbors with territories that run side by side. But as we'll see, their lifestyles are poles apart. Life is equally tough, but they both have very different survival strategies. The best way to see how each has mastered their own unique approach to life is to meet the jackals. At the Gol Rocks, we find Zabar, father to the Golden Jackal family. Zabar has the finely tuned skills of a great hunter. He is the perfect partner to his mate, who is called Storm. She is a caring mother and has forged a close-knit family. Over at Nabi Hill, the neighbors have a very different domestic arrangement. Hunter is pack leader. Utterly selfish, he looks after number one, and the family comes second. His long-suffering mate is a devoted partner, always ready to give him plenty of attention. Whitetip lives in Hunter's shadow. He makes the decisions, and she dutifully follows. Zabar and Storm's home is a rocky outcrop on the grassland. Here the responsibilities mean they can always be found at home, sharing their domestic duties. Meanwhile, the Nabi jackals, with their constant squabbling, are the typical noisy neighbors. And as a new season approaches, the challenges facing both families get even harder. The neighborhood is overrun by thousands of migrating wildebeest. Every year they share their home with a host of other characters. Baraka, Zabar's son from a previous litter. He's a lone scavenger with no territory of his own. He keeps on the move. He is constantly getting into trouble, getting by stealing scraps when he can get away with it, which isn't very often. South of Nabi Hill, we find Whitetip and Hunter's daughter Arusha and her new mate Spooky. Like most fathers, Hunter doesn't approve and makes sure he feels unwelcome. Further north is the spectacular Ngorongoro crater, where the high rollers live. Using sheer cunning, an exclusive group of jackals have learned how to hunt flamingos. But such prime real estate is attractive, and competition is fierce. There are thousands of flamingos here, but keeping hold of them is not so easy. Especially when an injured bird attracts so much attention. For those with the skill and determination to succeed, the crater has plenty to offer. Back on the Serengeti Plains, the migration has brought in larger predators. Amongst the most successful are cheetahs. With effortless speed, they're always first to give chase as a young wildebeest calf emerges. Cheetahs easily outrun the jackals and deprive them of yet another square meal. Meanwhile, when the real heavyweights turn up, they all lose out. Even the hyenas steer well clear. And they are forced to watch their next meal being taken away by the biggest predator with the largest appetite. Those who hang around to witness the feast are soon seen off. He's keen to keep his piracy guilt-free, preferring to eat alone. One character that's learned how to deal with all this competition is the silver-backed jackal, the smaller and even craftier cousin of the golden jackal. They live on the edge of the plains and launch stealthy raids deep into others' territory to steal food. A strategy that has made them very unpopular. They have few friends, least of all their golden cousins. Over at Gol Rocks, things are quiet. Storm is patiently waiting for her loyal mate Zabar to come home. The demanding pups have kept her guarding the den. She's getting hungry and impatient. There's no way she can leave them alone. Not with another resident hanging around. A spotted hyena who has a nose for opportunity. Janja, the sly one, is forever on the prowl looking for a quick snack, so the pups must be kept safely indoors. Storm must watch the skies too. For the nervous mum, it seems there is danger wherever she looks. In between lookout duty, she at least quenches her thirst on the last of the morning dew. Meanwhile, 2 kilometers away at the very edge of their territory, her partner Zabar is looking after some routine business. Reinforcing the boundaries of their home with a chemical fence of pungent urine. Then he's off to find food for the family. This devoted father has never come back empty-handed, and today will be no exception. He may be home late, but he's determined to bring back a kill. Even the small rodent he's just spotted. Unfortunately for the mouse, it's up against a fine and agile hunter. As balletic as he is deadly. Zabar is both relentless and patient in his pursuit. The final kill is almost choreographed. Now it's time to get back home to the family. The mouse is barely a mouthful. Zabar could swallow it whole, and Storm need never know. But he is clearly bound by a true sense of duty, and the mouse arrives in one piece. There's no hero's welcome. He's late, and she's hungry. As soon as she's eaten, she's ready to get back to the job of minder. Zabar tries in vain to get Storm to groom him. All he gets is the cold shoulder and the silent treatment. He tries once more, desperate for some sign of appreciation. But she's having none of it. He's merely done what was expected of him. No big deal. Now that they have pups, feeding the family is all down to Zabar. And once they've been provided for, it's his turn. And the locals are back on the alert. Unloved and hungry, he's also lost his edge. Meanwhile, Storm returns to the den, careful never to be away for too long. A few months ago, they lost their last litter after leaving the den unguarded. Just a few kilometers away, in the shadow of Nabi Hill, the neighbors are also busy with their own family life. But as usual, it's not the picture of domestic stability we've seen in the Gol Rocks jackals. A very attentive white-tip, but rather distracted hunter are watching their 5 young pups at play. So are their hungry neighbors. The cubs are vulnerable as they come out of the den to play. So white-tip is watching them carefully. It's crucial they experience the outside world. But Hunter is like a child himself and has no problem competing with his own cubs for white-tip's attention time. As usual, white-tip gives in to his demands, and the pups must hope for the best. The peace is suddenly broken by a sound they both instinctively react to. It is the unmistakable call of their daughter, Arusha. With an uncharacteristic show of responsibility, Hunter joins white-tip, and both answer her call. When Arusha appears, she's got company. Spooky's turned up too. Dad is not happy. And Spooky's in for another helping of Hunter's hospitality. As father goes to greet his daughter, she comes closer. Approaching him with ears back and head held low to show deference. But Hunter doesn't even acknowledge her. As if to make up for Hunter's behavior, white-tip welcomes her daughter enthusiastically. Meanwhile, Spooky is managing to keep just out of Hunter's reach. Even if his daughter likes him, Hunter doesn't have to. Arusha watches Spooky being banished by her father and decides to defy Hunter. She leaves home to follow her new mate. The neighbors have seen it all before. Just another disastrous family get-together at Nabi Hill. An anxious white-tip tells the pups she's back. And she's got something for them. A coughed-up meal, pre-digested and ready to eat. A female cub makes a run for it with a large portion all to herself. She's got a competitive streak and is already eager not to get into the habit of sharing. But the two boys catch up and bully her into submission. Brotherly love doesn't matter where hunger is concerned. Meanwhile, Arusha and Spooky are heading far away from Nabi Hill. Change is in the air, and the plain is about to be transformed for the jackals. Soon, the first rains will start to fall, and their homeland will be invaded by thousands of other animals. Each year, the short grass plains attract the vast grazing herds like a magnet. They come here to eat and to give birth. The rich grazing means plenty of energy, and the mood is playful. Such a population explosion inevitably draws in predators. With so much meat on offer, it's a time to feast. Yet despite plenty to go around, the hyenas are compelled to bicker over every single scrap and morsel. And sharing only with the ever-present vultures. The distinctive sounds and smells of such a great feast are too much for Jackal Mother Storm. She's left the cubs in the den to go hunting with Zabar. For Janja, it's a tantalizing opportunity. As the jackals head off, things get worse. They're about to make things easy for the hyena. Inquisitive and unattended, they are eager to explore beyond the confines of the den. In all the excitement, they've forgotten about the dangers that lie beyond the den. With a confident stride and a sense of adventure, the male's first to set off and absorb the new sights and sounds. The girls are far less confident. But then he's spooked and calls it a day. Janja's luck may still be in. The pups are still outside in the open. Janja watches the young predators practice their skills. They are distracted, and the young male is focused on a strange creature he's found. Oblivious to the danger they are in. Janja calls his clan to join him. Storm recognizes the sound. It's coming from where the cubs are still playing. She goes to the rescue. Her calls alerting Janja, who closes in. But the pups have heard their mother's frantic calling. Janja has failed, but his day's about to get worse. She's protecting her young, and her courage is incredible. Janja finds himself on the receiving end of her anger. Despite the size difference, he knows better than to fight back. The cubs come out to watch Mum in action. Leaving nothing to chance, she harasses Janja long after the den is out of sight. But Janja's appetite has been whetted, and while the pups may be celebrating now, he'll be back. Sensing the peril they were in, they make all the noise they can to attract Mum back to look after them. She lost her last litter this way. It was a harsh lesson in motherhood. This time, it was only a close call. The family's reunited and safe from danger. But the threat of a hyena raid remains her greatest fear. She's got a tough job ahead. The pups are growing more confident each day. And the male is beginning to emerge as a real adventurer. She'll need to keep him close. She feeds them nervously while still standing guard, ever watchful. She won't be so keen to join Zabar next time. Meanwhile, next door at Nabi Hill, some uninvited guests have arrived, and another drama is unfolding. Hunter and Whitetip have failed to notice the two silverback jackals who have snuck into their territory. While working mother Whitetip has again left her pups alone while she goes to hunt. Hunter is only interested in finding food for himself. And there's more trouble in the familiar form of Janja. After being chased out of the neighbor's property, he strayed right into next door's. He's heading straight for their den and 5 more unprotected pups. Three of them instinctively stay near the den. But the other 2 are keen to explore and have already traveled some distance away. The approaching storm seems to carry a sense of menace, and soon the 2 wandering pups are far from their brother and sisters and nowhere to be seen. But Janja has already picked up their scent. Alone and inexperienced, the young pups are about to learn a hard lesson in life. As the restless herd start to move right through the heart of Hunter and Whitetip's territory, the pups may be caught inside and could be trampled. These migrations are a time for all to feed. A carcass is always a big attraction for a variety of scavengers. The silverback jackals have moved in on a hyena kill. But the hyenas are the least of their problems. This is the Nabi jackal's territory. Hunter is going to need Whitetip's help to get the intruders out. They are stealing what is rightfully his. Ignoring the hyenas, he heads straight for his arch rivals, the silverbacks. Whitetip also needs to take some of this meat for her pups. Hunter must consume all the meat he's taken back from the silverbacks. Only then will he chase them away. But another jackal arrives, joining the intruders and making Hunter's job tougher than ever. In the confusion, Whitetip finally manages to steal a choice cut from right under the hyena's nose. With the silverbacks confused and separated, Hunter finishes the job. Whitetip heads home, but she may already be too late to help her lost pups. Finding only 3 left at the den, there is no sign of the others. She is faced with a difficult choice, but leaving the den once more, she goes in search of them. She has their scent now and is tracking them, traveling far away from the den. Then as she gets close enough to spot them, the worst possible sight confronts her. Janja and 4 of the clan have found the pups and killed them. She has no time to mourn the 2 unfortunate pups. She has 3 more that still need her. Life here can seem very hostile, where the young are so often the easiest targets for predators. Over to the east, Storm still has 3 healthy pups of her own, but it's getting tougher to keep them in check and in sight of the den. Storm keeps them from wandering with enthusiastic grooming sessions. But the daily routine is broken when a lone Golden Jackal enters the territory. Zabar is on the alert and goes to investigate. The trespasser immediately shows he's not here to cause trouble. And Zabar knows why. This is Baraka, his son from a previous litter. But despite the blood tie, he's not guaranteed a welcome. Zabar needs to be sure. Storm is curious too, and wants to see who the intruder is. But the young pups are less sure about the newcomer and run for cover as soon as their mother is gone. Zabar seems convinced that this is his prodigal son. Big Brother is still scaring the pups into hiding. But Baraka gets a warmer welcome from his mother. She's got plans for him already. He'll have to earn his keep. The pups are about to get a new babysitter. Blood ties are insurance, and extended family is the perfect way to solve the problem of childcare. Baraka has never managed to make a territory of his own. His return will help the Gol family genes to succeed. The pups have gotten over the initial shock and are soon keen to play with their new friend. And he's realizing how much work a litter of tiny pups make. Before long, he's the center of attention. Free at last, Storm is back hunting with Zabar, together for the first time since the pups were born. With Mom and Dad out of sight, Baraka is trying to get some time out from the pups. But they have other ideas. He thought looking for his own territory was hard. Now he's not so sure. His predicament attracts sympathy from passers-by. But no offer of help. Back at the Nabi camp, Whitetip is about to give her 3 remaining cubs a crucial lesson in hunting, jackal style. It gets the undivided attention of the male pup. But the girls are happy to leave them to it. They've got better things to do. He's a natural and makes a quick kill. but he's yet to master the art of keeping it for himself. Suddenly, they're all interested. Hunter also makes a fine catch, but as usual, he refuses to share. This selfishness will become a real problem for the pack. 3 growing pups will require more food, but can whitetip rely on Hunter to provide it? The young male looks like he's inherited his father's sense of supreme self-indulgence. Over at Gol Rocks, Storm and Zabar are busy working in a deadly tandem. For Storm, it's been a long time, and the sight of a heron with a beakful is just making her hungry. Not to be outdone, Storm tries to see if there are more mice to catch before the heron can. But the heron has cleaned up. Despite their most energetic efforts to flush the elusive rodents from the grass, nothing is moving. But the jackals are not about to give up that easily. Until things get even worse. A secretary bird arrives on the scene and makes an immediate kill. Tenderizing its victim with a few heavy blows. And then it's down in one. Rising to the challenge, Storm launches one last assault on the entrenched mouse population. And if Zabar wants to eat, he'd better do the same. Because this one is going straight home to the pups. The perfect hunter and the perfect mother. The male pup again grabs everything for himself and runs for it. Meanwhile, Barak has rediscovered his parental instincts, but only now that Mum's back to check up on him. But he is also hungry, and that mouse is almost too good to pass up. The little pup would also be a pushover. The temptation is overwhelming. With Storm watching him like that, probably best to go hungry for now. Only when Baraka backs right off does Storm leave to join Zabar. It even looks like he might be in for some gratitude at last. But once she's gone, Baraka's groaning hunger gets the better of him, and he's given in to temptation. But his little brother's protests have not gone unnoticed. Storm is back on duty. This son of hers could be just as much trouble as the pups. Baraka is not giving in. That mouse is his. He thinks there's no one but the other pups to see him steal it. So little brother loses out. Baraka has definitely not inherited his parents' sense of duty. There's a domestic crisis brewing, and the pups keep out of the way. Storm let Zabar deal with this one. After all, he is in charge here. Barak is about to pay a high price for this meal. Denied some quality time with Storm, Zabar takes his frustration out on Baraka. The nervous pups watch as order is restored. He devours the mouse himself to show Baraka just how angry he is. In the meantime, the 3 pups from the Nabi Hill pack have been left to fend for themselves yet again. Their parents are busy following the herds in the hope of something bigger than a mouse to eat. Hunter and Whitetip are right on a major game path and seem spoiled for choice, but they're not working well together. Whitetip is over-keen and immediately gets spotted by a gazelle on lookout. She lies low, hoping to hide again. But the gazelle is not fooled, and flushing them out of hiding before they even begin to stalk properly is another defeat. And a typical reason for why half of all jackals' hunts on gazelles don't succeed. For Whitetip to succeed, she needs to be patient. She must pick one individual from the herd and focus on it. The perfect target emerges. The fawn wanders further from the herd, and Hunter shadows it. But then an adult Grant's gazelle comes to the little Tommy's rescue. And the jackals have been thwarted again. Teamwork is the only option against such vigilant prey. Another target simultaneously gets their attention. Whitetip makes the first move, followed by Hunter. He picks up speed and is soon chasing hard. Suddenly the tables are turned and the predator becomes the prey. Hunter is now on the receiving end of 1, then 2 pairs of serious defense weapons. But this gives Whitetip the crucial edge, and she advances on the fawn. Spotting her maneuver, the adults turn back to help. This time it's Whitetip who's on the run, and in another switchback, Hunter returns to the attack. He's caught the Tommy and is going for the kill. But it looks like the gazelle is not about to let Hunter finish off the fawn without a fight. With his bloodlust in overdrive, Hunter is determined to finish the job. And now Whitetip comes back to help distract the larger gazelles. Now they're working as a team, and their superb tactics make all the difference. This is what jackals do best, cooperating with cunning and guile to try and make a kill. A successful strategy took this pair a long time to find, but the results are worth all the effort. When the real drama is over, Whitetip again waits patiently for Hunter to satisfy his hunger. Only then will she take her share of her hard-won meal. Hunter is merely following the etiquette in jackal hunts. The one who makes the kill eats first. Whitetip must wait until Hunter decides she can feed. Then, in an uncharacteristic gesture, he lets her take the largest portion. The pair eat fast. They can't let this meal get stolen from them. Whitetip is first to finish, but when she tries to help Hunter get through his, he's quick to push her off. She tries again, and surprisingly, she gets away with the biggest piece. The reason for such audacity becomes clear as Whitetip calls her pups to her. Reared on regurgitated meat, this time they will feed on a real carcass. It is one of the girls that is first on the scene. But then the male takes the lead and steals the prize. Like father, like son. With the role models this litter has, it's no surprise. Male jackals are always more dominant, but some more than others. This is Whitetip's gift to her young family, their initiation into the adult world. A world where the family helps each other, but where you still have to be strong enough to look after yourself. Whitetip has done well to get 3 pups this far. Soon it will be time for them to leave and fend for themselves and begin families of their own. For now, the squabble over this strange new food is a game, but soon it will be a question of survival. Not far away, at the neighbors, Baraka the babysitter still has his work cut out, keeping his new brothers and sisters in control. The pups seem to take great delight in running rings around him. Storm and Zabar are on their way back from a good scavenging session, and their bellies are full. Instinctively, the pups know it's supper time at last and race to meet their returning hunters. Baraka gets a welcome break. Storm encourages the demanding pups to pester their dad. But he refuses to feed them until they go with Mum for a good wash. The whole family are working together while Barake is resting. Zabar lends a hand. Storm and Zabar nearly lost their litter to Janja the hyena, but now as the pups are beginning to grow, they are finally past the most vulnerable stage. And that means they also have a little more time to themselves to spend reinforcing their bond with each other. Much to Zabar's long overdue relief. Back over at Nabi Hill, however, there's one final challenge for the jackals. This time it is their turn to face the malignant Janja, once again on the prowl and on the scent of the jackal's precious pups. Whitetip heads straight for the pups. And Hunter makes a stand. It's David versus Goliath. The slightly built jackal must rely on his wits. But this is also a challenge for territory, as Janja marks the ground with scent. Tension grips the plain. One snap of those bone-crunching jaws will break Hunter in two. With enormous courage and some confident bluff, the tiny jackal is playing a deadly game. But it's enough to make the hyena think twice about a challenge. Hunter wins the day. The hyena chased from the Gol Rock territory, perhaps for good. The atmosphere relaxes. He adds to the hyena's humiliation by rolling around in the scent marking. Hunter has finally pulled through for his family when it counts most, and now really deserves his position as top dog, at least for today. The Nabi jackals have come together at last. No longer a group of individuals, but a strong and successful family. They groom each other now, strengthening the bond they have found, and one all jackals rely on. But just when they have found this incredible bond, it's time for the family to part. Like all jackals, the pack must split up one day and go their separate ways. When the grown-up pups leave to go in search of a new territory and a place to have their own families. The other residents of Nabi watch them go. Today, Whitetip watches her pups leave. The next generation of jackals will be arriving soon. And her role as mother is over for now. So until next year and another litter of demanding young jackals, she is left alone with Hunter. Just the two of them, until the next litter and the whole family story starts all over again.